even if they don't have advertisements, like many of us, sometimes I do that myself. We lose the capacity to stay concentrated. Now that I think about it, I used to, like, now that I'm here, I don't do it like so early in the morning, but I used to train early in the morning.
Okay.
At like 6:30 or...
Since the start of this podcast series, I've met a lot of people, had a really good conversation with a lot of them. But I would say this is one of my favorite, top most podcasts I have ever done. This podcast was supposed to be like a very open-ended podcast, and I didn't really know, how this is gonna go. But Erica happens to be on this podcast. Overall, I feel this is a very positive and a very inspirational podcast as a whole. So I hope you have a lot of fun listening to this one, and let's get started.
So I'm Erica. Hi. I'm 23 and I come from Italy. As Aman said, I'm studying here international business at the moment. I studied languages in my bachelor, so I've studied English and German too. That's why I came back to Germany, because I like the language and I wanted to keep it trained, let's say. Yeah, and that's basically it. I wouldn't introduce myself furthermore. Would just like leave you all the questions.
Yeah, so I mean, you're studying in the FH, right?
Yeah.
So what's the? I mean, I know it's a different university, but what is it popular for? Because TU is like more on the technical side, if I'm not wrong.
You told me that robotics too is very important. FI is more, I think it's more for business, like management in general. Fachhochschule is the name of this kind of, it's like a university actually, but it's more maybe practical. There are a lot of projects, less theory probably, like less macroeconomics and microeconomics and more management in general.
Okay.
There is also there are also Fachhochschule for example, sciences or technical things, but they're less
Popular.
Okay.
So how many people is like a? So the department that you're studying is like a huge department, or is it like?
No, it's smaller than two.
Okay.
It's smaller than a university. Yeah, for sure. I think like we are 20 people in my class, but the course in general has for sure like I think 200 or 300 people.
Okay.
Not as many people as in the two.
Okay.
And you can see that also from the library, for example.
Yeah.
When you go to the library of the university, it's full of people.
Yeah.
While in Fachhochschule, there.
But I think you guys also come to the TU library as well, right? Yeah.
I come to, because there's more space, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll close this later. Not the reason why. Our library closes at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Okay, that's...
Everyone studies up to 7 p.m.
Correct. Because I remember the first time when I arrived over here, I saw the FH building and I thought that was the entire TU building or the main building, but it was not like that. So, and also I don't think so there's like a facilities of like Mensa or something, or a canteen. Or
The Mensa, yes, there is. It's called a kiosk bar.
Mm-hmm.
But it's smaller, of course, and also many people from the Fachhochschule also go to the TU.
Okay, makes sense. And so this is the second time you're coming over here to Germany.
Yeah, I've been to Marburg also. As I was telling you.
Okay, and where is it?
It's in Hessen, close to Frankfurt. It's a small city. I wouldn't call it city.
Okay.
But let's say small city. It's very historical. It's different from other cities in Germany because you can see there is like a castle, and it's it's very historical. It wasn't like thrown up by bombs during the war.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very beautiful, and it's different from many cities in Germany.
I see. And the city where your home university is, that's known as West.
You mean in Italy?
Yeah, in Italy. Where is it? I was searching about it, and it's known as the City of Gardens, right?
City of Gardens, yeah.
And why is that?
Because there is this huge garden. It's like it was, I think, the house of a royal family that had this summer house or something there.
You mean the royal family from Florence, like the one?
I have no idea actually, because I don't come from Varese.
Okay.
I studied there.
Yeah.
I know that the name is the family is called Estensi. So the names of the gardens is Giardini Estensi,
Okay.
so Estensi Gardens, and they're very beautiful with many plants, flowers, and everything. You can walk around. So that's why I think that it's called the City of Gardens.
I see. Okay. And your home university, does it, I mean, since you like moved from your home university over here, I mean, was there a lot of push from your home university that, that promoted you to, actually take up another, Erasmus over here and things like that?
Oh, no, not a lot of pressure. They just advertised the fact that, the Erasmus experience and everything. That was this day, the Erasmus Day, where you could see what destinations were available and everything.
Yeah.
But it's not like you are obliged to do that.
Okay. Makes sense.
I just love to travel, so that's why
You're here again. Makes sense. So, but what is the step forward? So, do you after like this Erasmus? What?
Nice question. So I'm planning to do an internship for next semester, but I really have no idea about. So I'm sending of course, resumes and everything to different kinds of work. So because I don't really have a clear idea in mind about what I want to do.
Makes sense.
I just have an idea about field. Of course, I would like to apply German, but I don't know. I don't have a clear job.
Okay. One thing that I noticed is like the FH specifically, since you also mentioned that it's like more a practical school, where they teach you like use cases and things like that. Do you have plans to start an independent business of yours after this? Because because since you're like studying business and studying microeconomics and macroeconomics, that's something which are you like inclined towards?
I'd say so. The name of the master degree that I do, that I'm attending at my home university, is Global Entrepreneurship, Economics and Management. So it's very oriented towards starting new businesses and startups and scale-ups and everything.
Yeah.
So I had many courses about that kind of word. Here at FA, it's a bit more like management of existing businesses. And I like both sides, actually. I think I would love to, I don't think found a startup unless I have a really big idea that I'm really convinced about.
Yeah.
But I'm not searching for starting something without an idea. Yeah. I'm not waiting for the idea. Okay. I mean, if it come to my mind, then I would love to start a startup, of course, but I'm not, I don't feel obliged to. Yeah. But I would love to work in a startup and to help the business develop and everything.
I see. Makes sense. And how is the culture of startups and companies in the place where you're from? I mean, where your home university is. Because I feel, if a university is present in a city, and especially these kind of schools, they are like very specialized schools, which are focusing on, building your own business and things like that. So is it do you have a lot of motivation around, to push you in this situation?
It depends. Actually, in my course, yes, there is a lot of information about startups, a lot of initiatives and possibilities to know more about the world. But I would say in general in Italy, it's not like that.
Okay.
Unless you're interested in that, you normally don't jump into that casually. In America, it's all about new ideas, starting new businesses and everything. In Italy, it's not like that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm asking from the perspective because, as you mentioned, in the US, it's very spontaneous. People come up with the idea, get funding, and then build a startup. It's maybe 6-7 months process, and they're building the business already. But I feel in the EU, it's much more slow and thinking and everything. Because in my department as well, we have the teacher, and she was mentioning the same thing, that people from Bosch are mostly spending time in thinking about ideas, and until unless they think that it's actually really good, they won't really implement it. So they don't really go out and implement.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know, maybe also investors are less prone to invest in Europe also because of legislation and everything. So, as I said, if you have a good idea and you're really determined, you can do that also in Europe.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons, of course, but also the investors are less ready or less ready. They invest more, I think, in the USA and
True. I mean, that's a good amount of insight on the business side. Okay, cool. So, but, I think we talked a lot more about, our work and business startup and, I don't want to, overload that topic more. But on those lines, so you have been here for like 4.5 months already, and your Erasmus along with me is also coming to an end.
Yeah.
Probably like this month.
Like in 20 days.
20 days or something, yeah. So, I mean, so what are your final thoughts about this entire Erasmus thing that you have done? I mean,
I don't know.
don't focus on, academic and things like that. I'm like, okay, that's something which...
No, I would say it was a very nice experience in general.
Mhm.
Apart from the weather, which I'm feeling like a lot in these days because I'm really tired about this weather. But that's the smallest thing I would say. Yeah, I met a lot of people, made a lot of friendships. That was very nice. Not just with Italian people, also with other girls that unfortunately they do travel like back to their country.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about like these experiences abroad, that we are young, so we have like, we won't have our whole life to spend time together with friends without just having to study, but like not working, not having a fixed schedule. So you can basically do whatever you like,
Correct.
of course, while studying and following lectures, but you really can do a lot more than maybe when you grow up.
Okay. I think I'm convinced on the fact that that coming over here is like something which you can only do up till this point. After this, it's like doing this thing is like nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Because if you're in masters and you're like almost done, I think this is a perfect chance where you can do a lot of parties as well and just relax for a bit and then go back.
And the beautiful thing is that even though you meet these people for just a limited period of time, I can say that for the people I met in Marburg, as I was telling you, they remain like for your whole life, because I just spent like there a semester, and it was like 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
Correct.
But I still hear from them, and so I'm still in contact with them, and I think I will remain in contact also with the people I met here. That's beautiful.
Coming to Italy again,
Mhm.
So I would want, it's an open-ended question. You can take it in any direction you want.
Okay.
But so I know for a fact that people in Italy or families in Italy have a very strong bond with their kids. It's like a lot of people in Italy, don't really have this thing that they go out of their houses at 18
Yeah.
and they stay with their families for like really long. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you, think about those things? In which direction?
What do you mean with really long? So what's
I
for
feel like-
really long?
I mean,
I just want to
30
know.
until 30 maybe, yeah. And I think
Because
that's
I wanted to know like the average of your country.
yeah. I mean, no. It's because it's the same in India as well. A lot of families, a lot of people, stay at like 25, 30. That's a very common thing. Yeah.
Yeah, in Italy too. Like in Germany, it's crazy for them. They leave their houses, like young people here, at sometimes 16, sometimes 18.
Correct.
Even if they live in a region that is close to their university, they don't travel like for 1 hour by train.
Correct.
They just go out of their houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Italy it's not like that. For us, we stay with our families, and then only once we have a job probably, and we can afford to pay a rent,
Yeah.
then we go out. Or sometimes even we stay, even if we have a job at our family's places, until we can buy a house. And then we and then we directly buy a house without like going outside. I have to say that I don't really feel like the majority of Italian people, because especially after you have been independent in Erasmus, you really feel that when you come back, it's like going back.
Yeah, I agree. That's a very solid point.
So I wouldn't spend like another 5 years even if I'm only 23, I wouldn't remain up to 28 with my family, I would say, because I would feel like not moving
Forward. Correct.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't criticize who does that. I mean, the important thing is to have a plan and to reach at a certain point your independency. I would say, that would be better to do that before like 30s. Because, but even if you don't, then it depends.
okay.
Every history is different.
I feel the people, the families in Italy are very supportive in terms of, support for a very long time. And another thing is like also in terms of monetary benefits as well. like, because I know that, in Italy, it's like, if I'm not wrong, the education is paid. So you have to pay for the education, masters, correct? So, I mean, the families in Italy are very used to, spending for their kids. And that makes the bond even more stronger. What do you think about that? I mean, is it the right? I mean, am I right?
University costs quite a lot in Italy compared to, for example, Germany. And moreover, we don't receive any money. Like in Germany, there is this thing called Kindergeld.
Kindergarten.
Which is, it's Kindergeld, which is like money for
Studying.
For children. So it's like, I think 200 euros, up to 200 euros that the parents receive for each kid monthly.
Really?
From when the kids are like 0 years old to when they are 20.
Okay.
So there's a lot of money that, of course, like family can use for buy clothes, for the studies, for everything about the children needs. And we don't have this thing in Italy. So yes, the parents have to spend money on everything for kids up.
Yeah.
And moreover for their education. So once you grow up, you feel like that you owe something to your parents, and not that's not just something in terms of I mean, it's not just because they told you something from I don't know, they told you how to explain that, how to live. Basically, they told you how to live because that's what parents do. But it's also because they supported you like economically. So also when parents grow old, it often happens that the children, they are not children anymore, but we say like close to the families, at least in a sense that we support them if they need something.
I see. That's a very good thing actually, because I mean, the countries like US and Sweden, have this thing that people are not really, or the kids, eventually when they grow up, they don't really have this thing that they want to stay, with their parents for a very long time.
That's true.
Yeah, and they feel like, okay, it's not our responsibility to take care of them, and they basically like, okay, you go on your own way, we go our own way. And in Sweden as well, since you mentioned about the 200 euros thing over here in Germany, in Sweden as well, people, I think kids get 1,000 euros every month. So it's like, it's like 1,000 euros for them. So, and they, use it for everything. People in Sweden essentially, mostly go for parties and they spend that 1,000 euros over there.
Have you lived in Sweden?
No, my home university is Sweden.
That's true that you told me.
Yeah. I think I should do a little bit of introduction about me as well.
No, but you told me. That's my fault.
Yeah, actually the thing is like, we haven't, I'm meeting Erica for the third time, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I think first it was in a spunk party. Second,
okay, I remember the second one.
Second one was like I think last week, and then when
we had the chance to speak more.
Yeah, and then we planned, okay, let's do a podcast because Erica has a lot of thoughts and a lot of positive vibes, and I felt okay.
I like podcasts. I always listen to them like when I have breakfast, when I don't know what to do, but I want a background, so I.
No, I think another thing is like one of the reasons why I asked you and to be on the podcast is because you have a lot of ideas and you share a very positive vibe on those ideas. Yeah, because the thing is like I feel like the person who is coming over here or the people who are going to listen to this podcast eventually also want to know something very insightful as well. Yeah. And if the person is not interesting and if the person is not positive, then everything can go bad.
Yeah. And it's very nice. I find very nice like what you're doing. Also with this podcast, like what you're doing in general, because you explained to me, but also the idea of the podcast and the fact also that you wanted to have this memory about the experience.
Correct. Exactly. Because I feel everyone over here, we are at this stage that we might have not reached the highest point in our lives, but yeah, and I mean we are in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And I feel to everyone who is listening to this thing, they at least have a benchmark. Okay, it's good to be at the top, but it's okay to be in the middle and understand how the process goes. And because this is a phase, right? Eventually, they will reach this phase and they will move ahead. So yeah, people like you who are here, talking about business and development and education and even culture about Italy as well. It's insightful. So I think this is like the perfect place to capture it.
That's true. Yeah, and I also love like exchanging information, feedbacks about cultures. That's why I studied language mediation for.
Yeah. I'll come to that in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's cool because that as you mentioned about the families, and the people stay with their grandparents for like a really long time. It's the same thing in India as well. Okay, let's come back to the thing that we were talking about. So you're studying a language mitigation, and
I studied that like in the
bachelor's. What exactly is it, and what do you do?
I don't think it exists like in Germany or Sweden also probably. But basically you study languages. I studied 2 languages like deeply, which were English and German, and one like more not so deeply, I would say. Was like a lowest level. It was French. But you don't study the literature behind languages, but you do study like institutions, the culture, some things about politics in the countries like I studied the parties in Germany, for example.
Oh, wow, you said parties in Germany.
Yeah.
Like which parties? I mean, political parties. Okay, I totally got it wrong. Yeah.
Those parties.
Yeah. Like the going to clubs and everything.
No. No,
Okay.
that I did, but I didn't study. Okay. However, and then you also study something about like business, but not so deeply actually. That's why then I wanted to study more about international business and this kind of stuff. And you also study something about legislation.
Okay.
Because the path, like if you also do that at the master's degree, you would end up like translating legal documents from like your mother tongue to the languages you've studied, like German.
Wow. Okay.
But there will be like more, I don't know, static as a work, and I don't really like it.
Yeah.
So to just sit at a desk and translate things like legal documents.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to change a path.
Okay. From the conversation, I feel like you'd like to travel a lot, and you can't really sit at a 9 to 5 job, and your work desk job is like something that you don't want to do. So I mean, let's start from the fact that you like to travel, and where all have you been, and what all have you traveled so far?
Actually, I've been twice to Germany, and then the other travels I did, apart from 2 weeks, I spent in Dublin, a study holiday when I was like, I think around 10 years ago. It was like 10 years ago. No, not so much, probably. Or maybe, yes. Don't know, 8 years maybe. The other places I've been to, it was for holidays.
Okay.
So Egypt, Greece. I've been to Spain like more than once. To Paris. I've been in Strasbourg. I've been at the European Parliament because I had like won this competition. I had to write an essay about like human rights, and I won the first prize. So I had the chance to spend like these 3 days
in the Parliament,
European youth event at the European Parliament in Strasbourg. Then where have I been? In Italy, I've traveled a lot also.
Have you been to Florence?
Yeah, Florence is one of I would say my favorite city.
I'm very curious. No, I really want to. So I'm very curious about Florence.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. Is there someone here from Florence?
I don't think so. There is anyone. I have not really met anyone.
I met a girl. She's from Tuscany, but I don't know if she's from Florence.
I think Florence is so good that no one wants to leave Florence. That's another thing.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard about it, and I've seen videos, of course. But for me, it's more about the technological development that has happened in the Florence during the Renaissance period. I feel that's something which has impacted me, and that's my motivation to go there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I feel like I think the time when the Renaissance time was happening, it like they developed so much stuff in 5 decades that was not happening in 20 or 30 decades. And that's something which is very interesting for me.
But would you like live there, or would you just travel and see the city?
First, I think I would like to travel. Yeah, because in this Erasmus, I went to Venice and Padua, and I was like there, just absorbing the culture and everything. And I feel Italy has a lot to offer. Italy has a lot to offer in terms of culture, in terms of people, in terms of everything. So I'm already impressed by the Venice and the Italian culture. but I'm not sure how Florence is going to surprise me in the future.
But everything in Italy has really a lot to offer, like in terms of culture, I would say. That's why when I told you I have traveled to Italy, that's because it depends where you go in Italy. It's not like every part of Italy has different. I mean, the culture is always the Italian one, but a different history, different influences from other cultures. For example, in the south, there is a lot of Moroccan and also Spanish influence, more than in the north.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very beautiful to see as a country, I think, Italy, yeah.
And on those lines, so I know that, the people in Italy are usually separate in people from north and people from south. So is it like a healthy conflict, or is it like something which is like a bad conflict?
It depends. There are like
how do you think about
this topic.
Okay, maybe like give a maybe it's a very huge topic, so maybe like give a little bit of an idea of what do you think about it?
It depends, because actually sometimes it's like a meme for us. It's like something we laugh about, because there are like two ways of living sometimes. And of course, it's not an absolute concept, because there are people from the south that are like the same thing, or even more punctual, for example, than people in the north, and don't follow the stereotype.
Yeah.
But sometimes the stereotypes is true, and it becomes like quite a meme, something to laugh about. But other times it's like it gets into discrimination from both sides, probably more for the south part. Also because there is less economic development and less investments there, so it's more difficult for young people also in the south to make it. To have cities where they can travel, so they often have to move to the north.
Yeah.
And that's difficult for them. So when this like stereotype, which is true and funny, but sometimes can become like dangerous. When it's too much, then I don't like it.
Okay, makes sense.
But in general, it's something that is born for a reason.
Okay. So, but you have a very good English accent. I mean, compared to other Italian people that I've met. Yeah. How did you develop this thing? Was it like something because of your school, or did you travel to any English country or something?
As I told you, I just stayed like 2 weeks in Dublin.
But 2 weeks can't develop an accent, right?
That's not why I developed an accent. That's just like, I think, just study, or I just cool. I've always loved the language, so I've always tried to speak it as much as I could. And if you listen to films, podcasts, and everything, and you try to like imitate the accent or make it good when you speak, you take it a bit. Like, I wouldn't say I have such a good accent.
But I think, compared to the other Italian people that I've met, some Italian people are like very hard to talk to. I feel. Yeah.
But probably it's because we are not really used to take it seriously at school. So unless you love the subject, unless you love the language, you just like study it for the test.
Okay.
That's it. So you don't speak it, you don't talk in English. The problem is that probably we have like a few occasions to speak in English in Italy, like while having lectures and everything, because it's more frontal lecture. The teacher explains the grammatic, and then you just have to listen and like know the rule, but you never speak.
Yeah. Okay. So it's more like a theory-based thing. It's not a practical approach.
And that's like that for many things in Italy, many subjects. Like the school system is a bit. I don't know, I would change it from this perspective, because some things you have to apply them, and languages you definitely have to, maybe before knowing the grammar perfectly, you have to be able to express yourself, because like the language is something that it's a tool that you need for a reason. You have to like use it for a certain purpose. It's not like that you just know the language for itself.
I agree. And I mean, You know,
That was Marco.
that was Marco. Yeah,
You would know him.
you will know him too.
He is one with a better.
No, he's the one with the bad accent. Yeah, but he's learning as well. I feel he's learning. Yeah, Okay. He improved a lot. I think I think he learned to speak decent English now.
Decent,
Yeah.
yeah.
When the thing what happened is like on the first day when when we arrive at this place, all three of us had this impression that Marco is like a very studious guy. Going to study 12 hours a day, and we cannot play music, we cannot do parties.
Okay.
But the same day we had the first party at our in the area 51.
Okay.
And we saw Marco getting extremely drunk, and we realized, okay, I think no, he's he's
You're wrong.
he's the guy who's gonna make us all go to every party. Yeah, cool. So on those lines, you told about that you have also enjoyed quite a lot over here in Germany in terms of parties as well. How has your party experience been so far?
Yeah, actually, I went to more parties like in these last month,
Yeah.
I would say, because in the beginning it was always so cold that it was quite a problem to be outside. But parties in general, I would say that they're nice. In Erasmus, even if the place is not the best one, I mean, student dorms are not the best place where you can party, but the thing is that the people, the vibes are always positive. So you really have fun. You also talk to people, and you meet new people from different cultures. So that's something that normally doesn't happen in like clubs.
Yeah.
you know.
You talked about vibes from the people.
Mhm.
Do you have this theory that you talk to people if they radiate a positive energy? Or do you feel that, positive energy is something that is very important for you to start a conversation? Or that's something which you're like okay with it, because let's say if there's a situation where where you're thrown with a partner, in a group meeting or something, and the person is like not giving you like positive response or something. How do you like feel about that situation?
It depends because it depends from my mood actually.
Okay.
Because I'm sometimes the person that doesn't have like really is not in the mood to talk with people she doesn't know. Most of the times I am like very happy to meet new people and to start conversations and to like vehicle the positive vibe to the other person, like make the other person feel comfortable talking and everything. But when I'm not in the mood, like I'm not the ones that starts.
I see. Okay. But do you feel the people over here in Germany in specific? Do you feel like they are like comfortable with talking to you and doing? And in general, do you feel like they are the ones who give like a positive vibe and they're like very friendly and things like that? Because I have another opinion, but
okay.
I'll wait for your opinion first.
Okay. But you mean like German people?
German people, yeah, specifically German. No, German people specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, because Erasmus students are like everyone who is here from different countries, so that's not the exact like experience.
Not a prototype yet.
Yeah.
German people don't usually start conversation, I would say. But like I'm talking mostly about my classmates, so they're like around their 20s or 25. They're not the ones that start conversation, but if you talk to them, I sometimes I speak to them. At the beginning, maybe I spoke more English. Now I also speak German with them. And if they see that you are open and you like make jokes and everything, they become more like relaxed.
Yeah, okay.
But at the beginning, they are not the ones that involve you.
So it's like there's a barrier to start the conversation, but once you're in the conversation, then it's easy to go.
Yeah, then it's easier, I would say.
And since you're like working with people, and you have in your university as well, you have business cases and everything. You must be like interact with a lot of people at really good places or stages in their life, like your professors or maybe that you might be like, going or meeting with like people who have businesses.
Yeah.
What do you think about those people? I mean, do they also have this thing that they're like they're like to themselves and they don't really want to talk to them or to talk to each other or something?
Not like that actually. For people that come like to our university, to the Fachhochschule, to present like their activities or to introduce a project to us, they are probably the opposite, because it's in their best interest if we have to do something for them to like present themselves and involve us in what they do. So that's quite different. It's not on the same like.
Same situation. Okay. Do you read books?
Yeah. I
Which category of books? Which genre?
Everything. Mostly, as I'm reading like a fantasy book now, but I've read like what's the name?
Romantic. Yeah, romance.
It's not like about romance. That's why novels, like normal novels.
Yeah. Non-fiction, non-fiction.
What?
Fiction or non-fiction?
No. I mean reading novels.
No. Yeah. I mean, no. Oh, yeah. Okay. No.
Fiction. What do you mean? Like.
I mean, yeah. Of course, novels are like different categories.
Like fiction is like something on TV.
No, fiction basically means, anything which is like a story book, which is entirely like hypothetical, which is not an actual thing.
Okay.
And non-fiction means like the ones which are like actual things which has happened in real life.
Oh, fiction. Oh, in the sense of finzione. Then I got it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was used like that.
Yeah. So which was your kind of both? Okay.
But I love really. I'm very open. I read everything that sparkles my curiosity.
Okay.
To say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have like a favorite. I don't like scientific fantasy.
Yeah.
Things about. I like to read about aliens, but more things that really happened, or like I don't know, journals about that. Not novels about like those kind of things.
Yeah, you don't want to like read like 1,000 pages and at the end be like, oh, this was total crap.
Yeah, exactly. But I like for example the Lord of the Rings. That's fantasy, but it's not about like science or something. That I read.
You read the whole series?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Have you read Harry Potter as well?
Yeah.
All the books?
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Okay.
you read them?
Yeah. I've read Harry Potter. Yeah.
Very well written.
I think the books are much more better than the movies.
Than the movies, yeah.
Yeah.
At first I saw like the first two movies, didn't like them a lot actually.
Yeah.
I just said, yeah, okay, but I don't know. Then I read all the books and I rewatched the movies, yeah, and I loved them. I love both. First I loved the books and then I started appreciating.
Yeah, for me it was a different journey. I watched the movies first, then I read the books. So I was already loving the movies, and then I read the books. I'm like, okay, this is even better. Yeah. Do you also follow the fan com as well? I mean, the fan pages of Harry Potter. They have like.
I am registered in this website called Pottermore.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You can do like the test for your Patronus and know like which one is your Patronus.
Yeah. Correct.
Kind of stupid. But I just like made the profile just to see my Patronus, which I don't remember.
Because there are like some websites where people put their own depiction of stories.
Okay.
Like what is gonna happen next, and what is gonna happen next.
They do that too.
Yeah.
Like fans.
Yeah, exactly. I think I love that idea, because then you get so many different thoughts and processes. Like, okay, this might be true, that might be true, this might be true, and that's something which I really enjoy as well. Yeah, cool. But mostly I read like non-fiction or mostly like self-help books. I think that's like more of my genre these days. Or it's been for like 6 months actually. So yeah. How often do you read though?
It depends. When I have like exams, I read less because I'm like read books the whole time, so I don't really have. I'm not in the mood to read books even when I get home, unless I really like the book. I read before. But I read it like almost every day.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah. During like at evenings mostly before going.
Do you read like on paper or do you read like
paper.
Kindle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am a Kindle reader.
Okay, no, I don't have a Kindle actually.
Okay.
I would love to have one, but if I have place for books, and if I'm not traveling, for example, and I can read like physical books, I prefer them.
Okay, makes sense. For me,
I'm always like smelling pages.
yeah.
Kind of things, yeah. I can't really avoid that.
Yeah, true. The problem is like for me, I feel like a lot of books that I like to read, either they're over here, especially in Germany, I would get a German version, or if I have to pay like extremely like 30, 40 euros for the English version or something. And I have to wait for them to come and arrive. So it's Kindle is like much more easier. I can just download it and like.
Because for me, it's often like that. So since I don't have like a list of books that I want to read, sometimes I do, but otherwise I just love to like go to libraries and be inspired about what I see. So the English versions of books also here are already available, so I don't have to wait for them, and I just buy them in libraries.
Amazing. Someone told me like a couple of days back that one of the best things about books is that they don't have advertisements.
They don't have
Advertisements. Yeah. So, that's the best thing, because then,
that's true. You get distracted.
you don't get distracted. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yeah, that's a very good fact.
But I noticed that even if they don't have advertisements, like many of us, sometimes I do that myself. We lose the capacity to stay concentrated, like on something which is not a screen for more than, I don't know, 20 minutes without looking at our cell phones and everything. That's very bad. When I do that, I'm always like angry with myself. What you're reading? Why are you distracting yourself? Well, just doing something else. Yeah.
I agree. I think it's very easy to get distracted these days.
Yeah. Even when we study, I don't know if it happens to you.
I usually throw my phone in a box or something.
I do that. Like I put it in another room, because otherwise you just, maybe you don't even unlock it and write something, but just you look at the hour, or you look at the screen, but that makes no sense.
Correct. And since you come from a background, where you're like, what I understand is that, you like to stay proactive. You like, because since you keep your phone in the other room and everything, I feel that you're like someone who likes to stay proactive as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah. No, you're totally right.
Yeah. So, do you have any practices that you do? To remain productive? Like you told that you keep your phone in the other room, but how do you keep yourself productive throughout the day or something? Yeah.
I'm not always,
because I like to know about this thing from everyone who's like a proactive person, because it's something which is very helpful.
Because I get bored quite easily. That's why I always try to look for new
biohacking.
Yeah, exactly. To interactions, to new things to discover, and that's basically what pushes me. Probably is being bored easily. That makes me always want to know new things, new experiences, new people.
What is the best habit that you would say that you have to improve your productivity, apart from the phone one?
No. I would say to improve my productivity.
Yeah. So.
In general, I don't know. I would say talk to people, probably.
No, what is something that you do, that you feel is like really helpful to remain productive? Let's say I'll tell you something. So, I try my level best not to touch my phone until 11 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to touch my phone. If I have to talk to someone on WhatsApp, I would rather open my laptop and just just send a message and then close it off. I don't want to touch my phone, because the problem with phone is it's so easy to scroll and jump to apps and everything. So I have this higher priority that I don't touch my phone until 11 a.m. So do you also have something like this, like a biohack that you do?
No, actually not.
Okay.
I just like to do the same thing with the phone, but mostly when I study, because otherwise when I do other things, like things that are less boring than when studying sometimes. Because studying can become quite boring when you're obliged to do that.
Yeah.
For exams, for example. When I study, I just put my phone in another room and just focus on what I'm doing. But in general, apart from that, I don't have
Okay. Cool. And one of the things that I feel like is really helpful that you can possibly try as well is the fact that when you're going to bed in the night, turn all your lights to red color, maybe 9 or 10 o'clock. It just boosts off your melanin rate, and then you quickly fall asleep very naturally, and you don't really have to force yourself to sleep or something. That kind of really helps. Okay, so on those lines, you talked about productivity, you talked about reading books. Do you think, or what would you recommend would be some of the practices that someone can do to remain productive? Because I feel that since you also mentioned that the attention span is reducing every day, We don't really have our focus, in one place. Do you have something that you feel like you also want to try, and you would recommend someone that, is easy to start for someone to, start with?
Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I used to, like, now that I'm here, I don't do it like so early in the morning, but I used to train early in the morning
Okay.
at like 6:30 or 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like before going to university, for example, that makes you feel really aligned. I don't know how to say that, but you accomplished. Yeah, you have already accomplished something like at 8 a.m. and you have time for the rest of your day, and you feel more energy in your body. So that's one thing that it's quite nice, and I will for sure like start again when I go back.
Okay, makes sense. Let's talk about India a little bit. What do you India?
India.
Okay, yeah. So what do you know about India so far? I mean,
Almost nothing.
almost nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Probably I have quite. I just like I know my sister is Buddhist,
Okay.
so I just know something about like religions,
Yeah.
but not that much actually. And that's it. Yeah, I just have like the image of.
What image do you have for India? Like a very
typical Indian women with these like red.
Bindi. That's Bindi.
What's the name?
Bindi. Yeah, Bindi.
And these dresses, like very beautiful dresses, and then I think that's basically
anything about Indian food, Indian marriages.
The food, really spicy food.
Okay.
And marriages, I have no idea.
Okay.
But I would love to travel there. Asia in general is. I've never been to any place.
Yeah, or the Asia side.
I don't really know a lot about the cultures there.
I think it's.
Tell me everything you know about India.
Yeah, one thing which is very similar, I would say, very very similar, is the fact that since India is like quite huge in size, it also has the same thing as Italy. Like the people from north have a little bit of a fight conflict between the people from south.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
south.
So north and south. So people from north get very conscious about people from south, and people from south get very conscious about people from north. Because I'm telling you this because I was born and brought up in the northern part of India, but for my bachelor's I went to the southern part of India. And when I was there, I could feel and see how things are done differently. Yeah.
Some of them is a part more like discriminated than the other because of like economic reasons.
I would say economically looking, I think both north and south are very well flourished in their own different ways. The people from south are mostly more well educated, because of the technological development and everything. And people from south or people from north are mostly like the ones who have good businesses. They're like quite wealthy and everything. So I think that balances out the entire economical situation. It's just about the culture change which is there, because the people from north find that some of the things in the south are quite tacky and okay, why are you doing this? And people from the south have like, okay, why are you doing this? It's not required or anything like that. So yeah, those sort of conflicts are mostly there. Coming to the food, I agree it's a little bit more spicy, but I think if you go to like some Indian restaurants over here, I think they optimize the food for like more European people. It's not that spicy and everything. Yeah. But if you have to start from something in India, I would highly recommend either start from Mumbai, which is a little bit in between, that's where you have all the Bollywood movies and everything coming out. Yeah.
The images of my vibe.
Yeah, so that's a very good point to start. Or otherwise, I would say, northern part is decent to start with. I would not say it's the best place to start with, and highly recommend it because, I understand Italy also goes in really high in temperature in summer. I think like 48, 50 or something. It's the same in India as well. So don't travel in summer.
We'll keep that in mind. And I also know that there is like a huge number of people, like the population is really huge.
Correct.
Is there some kind of like limitations about how many children you can make as a family or not?
No.
No, because in China there is some.
There is, yeah. I think 2 weeks ago, India like surpassed China in terms of population. So India is like on the first number now. Yeah. So, but yeah, there is no restriction whatsoever. And another fact about a couple of states in India is like there is a particular state, it's known as Uttar Pradesh. That state itself has more population than entire Australia. Yeah, and there are like a lot of countries, a lot of states like that which have extremely high population. Like it's huge. Yeah, that's huge. But I feel, since you're from the, business and economical background, I would, I'll give you this perspective of how I look at things. That, if you have a very scalable business in India, it's very easy to develop and grow. Yeah, because the thing is like, since the number of people are so high, and if your product is really good, you can penetrate really fast, because people get impacted really well, although the incomes and everything are not so high, but if it's something that is very viable or very scalable, you can scale really fast. So that's like something which is like is good.
But you think that is that like just from within? So if you develop the business from within, you're Indian and you know how to like manage the business there, or is it easier also for businesses that come from?
Okay, I'll give you a hypothetical situation. Let's say you like 2 years down the line, you
answer the heart.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you start a business, okay, which is like perfect hit or something, and which is free in the start, okay, which is free in the start, and you're like, okay, we're giving this service free for everyone for the first year, and you start marketing India, okay. I am quite sure, by within like 5 or 6 months, you can acquire like at least 5 to 10 million people really fast. Because the thing is like in India, people are very much attracted towards free services. And if you give something for free in the start, I think they are like very ready to adapt the culture. I'm telling you this thing because, from my experiences, that's how me and my team, grew in that direction. Yeah, we tried out, free services first. Okay, let's give everything for free. No problem. Free, take it. Although there's a lot of cash burning in that, but once you're in the market, then you can start charging decently. Okay, grow up. And if the product is really good, then it starts to grow up. So, yeah.
Thank you. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah. So, because a lot of people in India are, increasing their, lifestyle because more and more people are getting educated, things are growing and everything. So, businesses like boom really well. This is something that I felt when I was in Sweden, that, scaling a business in Sweden is really hard because the people over there are very, quite less. The entire Sweden population is like 10 million people, and growing a business is like almost, I don't know. I mean, it's quite difficult.
And maybe they are less open to like new businesses unless
that's another thing. That's very true. That's yeah. Because I feel like since you pitched out this point, if you see the people in the US, they're very ready to open and accept new things. They're like, oh, this is something which is new in the market. Okay, $5, no problem. Let's buy it. This is something, and the purchasing power is very high. They feel like, okay, this is something new, trendy. This can maybe make an impact or maybe not, but I can give it a shot. So that's something which I like about the US.
Have you lived in the US?
Yeah, I was there in California. Yeah, California is like the place where I was, and also in New York as well. So, since I was working there, I was like, okay, let's see the culture, see the people.
Where would you live like for the rest of your life if you had to choose a place?
I think you're doing a very good back interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think interview other people.
So, I mean, I would say right now I feel, Sweden is like the place to be. But in my Erasmus, I have traveled to Netherlands. And luckily, my brother also stays there, and he stays very close to Amsterdam, like 1 hour away. So I feel Netherlands is like, really on the top. It's like really on the top. People are very open, culture is very, very good, and everyone is so friendly and everything. But it's the same in Sweden. I feel like this is what Sweden has offered me after the experiences in the US is something which I feel was much required. Because I feel in the US, I was like, a little bit of scared all the time, because of the gun culture and everything. Yeah. And that's something which was like, because when you like push yourself so far, and you reach like a decent level, you're working in the US and everything, you want to relax for a bit, and you want to go out and do something and relax, do things which are good. you can't really do that. I mean, I wouldn't say I was the most comfortable, doing those things, there was always a little bit of fear that, something can go wrong here. But in like countries like Sweden, it's not like that.
That's bad. I've never traveled to the USA, so
Okay.
I don't really have an idea. I just have an idea about how big that is.
Yeah.
So how you need basically a car for going everywhere. You can't really like walk 10 minutes and be where you need to be.
Correct.
That's something that I don't really like, ideally, but I've never been there, so I had no idea that it was so. It felt like the unsafe part was so tangible. Let's say.
I see. Okay. But I think another thing which is there is like, if you haven't been to the US, mostly everyone has a very different image for the US culture, because of the movies and everything. I'm not saying that they brainwash people very well. I'm just saying it's a very different, image for everyone, because people feel like, okay, US is going to be amazing. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. But everyone has a different.
Yeah, and also it depends because it's so huge that it depends in which country you go to.
Correct. Which place, you feel you would want to stay for the rest of your life? Have you decided?
You mean the rest of my life?
Yeah. And have you decided some place so far?
No, I haven't yet. I have to see too many places.
If you have to decide now, which one would
I
you?
have to decide now.
Yeah.
I think like I don't want to be. Probably I'm biased because like Italy is the place I know better.
Yeah.
And that it has really huge lot of things to do with seaside, like the mountains, cities, history. It has like everything. But of course, every country has everything if you really know it.
True.
So I would say Italy because of the landscapes, of the weather and everything. But for example, I loved people also here in Germany and society and the way it's organized. Everything has its pros and cons. So I can't really
discriminate. Okay. Have you been to Netherlands?
Netherlands? I've just been to Amsterdam.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I love it. Really nice. I like that. But I didn't have the opportunity to live there for a period. Like I was there just for 3 days or so. So you feel the vibe.
Yeah.
You can't imagine like the special bureaucracy part. These kind of things which I think must be taken into.
I'm kind of like understanding that every conversation that we start off, you always put in a little bit of, perspective from business side, and like bureaucracy and economical side. Okay.
Because if you live like somewhere, you have also to get money from somewhere.
Yeah.
To have an activity or have a work job.
Correct.
Because you can't live with like just the bread. That's the main point. So, and also, if you think like about, I don't know, things like, I think the political part and the institutional part, even if you don't take into consideration the jobs, it's really important, like for ideologies and for what you feel like.
I agree. I mean, that really hit me when I was here in Germany, because in Sweden everything was in English. I thought it might be in Swedish, but everything is in English.
Yeah.
But when I came over here and I started working in the university as a research student, they gave me a bundle of paperwork. They're like, you have to fill this, and it was like, no, I'm not even kidding, it's like 40 pages or something, and they're like, you have to fill all of it, and then you have to submit it, and then just think about it, and then let's get back again.
But was it in German?
All in German. And I have to fill it up in somewhat in German as well. Yeah, some of the things.
Yeah, here it's not like the best thing if you don't know German. Also at the university, do you have all your courses in English?
All English, yeah.
But it's not like it's not always like that. Unless you, of course, you do a faculty that has all courses in English. Most of, like many a master's degree are in German also.
Yeah. You have courses in English or German?
No. Here I have all the courses in English.
Okay. And you already are like, what level of German? B1 or B2?
B2.
B2. Yeah. I mean, I'm 1.1. So all I can say is Danke, Entschuldigung, that's all.
I've studied that in the bachelor's.
Yeah. Okay. So rounding it off, which experience do you feel like was a better experience for you? Coming here to Germany for the first time or right now in the Erasmus? Which one do you feel like has impacted you a lot?
You mean for the first time, like the last Erasmus?
Yeah, exactly.
For the first time.
First Erasmus.
Okay. Of definitely this one, I think, because they both impacted me actually. Because when I went to Marburg, there was COVID.
Yeah, okay.
So it was quite difficult because I couldn't really go outside whenever I wanted. The situation was okay at the beginning. I had like lectures in presence, but then it got worse. So it was a bit difficult. I had to be like strong in a certain sense because I was like abroad and using that we didn't know how to like deal with.
Yeah.
Was happening when I was alone, basically, because I had friends, of course, in Germany, but you couldn't go outside and everything. I lived like the experience of being an Erasmus student more here than like last Erasmus.
Okay.
Say.
How has COVID impacted you? That's and in terms of in terms of self-reflection, I say, do you feel it has given you an opportunity to explore a little different side of you, or you feel like it was like something that was like easy going for you and you just closed it over?
I don't know actually. I think like I never thought about how difficult the situation was while I was like in the situation.
Yeah.
But like if I look at it like now, I say okay, I had to go through some things that were not so pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
But so I feel maybe stronger because of the experience I did abroad, and I was like alone or with some friends, but like without family, without normal friends.
Right.
But I didn't like felt it too much while I was in this situation. I just was like easygoing.
Okay. That's a brave approach, because I feel with all this COVID and everything coming up, it has given a lot of time for a person to do a lot of self inspection and self introversion. To feel like, okay, if I'm doing this, why am I doing this, or what purpose am I looking forward in the life? So do you did you feel like did you like had time to take a step back, relax and think about how and what exactly you're doing and which direction are you going as well?
I think I wasn't in a moment. So I was still in my bachelor's or like shifting from bachelor to master. So I wasn't really into the future thinking in terms of job and everything. So that was I was probably lucky because of that, because I didn't have such like a philosophical question about what is the purpose of what I'm doing, because I just enjoyed what I was done. But probably the thing that I noticed the most, I recognized the value. I thought more about the value of like going outside, having a drink and everything you took for granted before, of course. But I have never felt like I would have gone out like even with COVID. I mean, not at the really first phase, but after, when it was more under control, I wasn't afraid.
Makes sense.
Probably because I'm young, so didn't take it.
No problem. Let's go out. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, any end notes that you would like to give to 16-year-old Erica now?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Things that you should be knowing, you feel like you should be knowing, when you were 16 years old. Yeah.
That's difficult. I don't know.
Maybe like a word or something that you feel like you could have done better if you would have known at when you were 16.
No, you wouldn't. I would just say you will not have an idea about where you want to go even when you're 23. So we're still the same person. Yeah, that's it.
So high five for that, right?
Yeah, high five. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the important thing is that we say like, like authentic. And that's it. Yeah, I would say. Even if I will like re-listen to me when I'm 40, I'd probably.
I hope you listen to this when you're 40 again.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm doing that. I told them before, think about when we will be like 35 and we will listen to the podcast and we'll say, okay, that I was like the same person, or maybe I changed a bit, but I think like the personality remains.
I think one of the best things that I feel after doing all these podcasts is that, so many people have, sat down on this chair, along with me, take out like at least an hour of their life, and, shared so many ideas and, thoughts.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It feels so, enriching. You feel like, okay, everyone has so many different things to talk about, and everyone is so interesting.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I feel, I feel that all the people who has been here are like having a great time of their life, and they have done something really well. So yeah, I mean, you're obviously one of those.
Me too. It's very nice to talk with you,
Yeah.
and like also to listen to the other podcasts that you.
I'm glad. It's a lot of hard work, but it's a lot of fun as well.
I can imagine today. Then you have to interview them.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you need like a support, to need like another person that interviews for you.
That's a good idea.
Insights about Florence, I can do like
You're pitching in your offer right away on the podcast. Yeah. So it's on.
But really, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was amazing. But thanks for doing this. I'm glad that we happened to do this podcast and happened to meet over here on this Erasmus. And I hope every one of you enjoyed and this podcast as well. Erica, I shared a lot of insights from her life and a lot of thoughts about Italy culture and Germany as well. So yeah, I hope you found this very valuable, and I'll see you in another episode. Till then, keep listening.
Bye.
Bye.